Hello, everybody, and welcome into another Red Wings News and Rumors here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, joined in by Jordan Orth. Jordan, how's it going?
Good. It was a nice little break from work, getting a long weekend with Thanksgiving. Wasn't the greatest watching for the Wings, but see if they can maybe get it going again.
It seems like they've been on a bit of, and this is what we're going to talk about first, is that they have been on a bit of a slow last 20 games, not a lot of success. They've lost 12 of their last 20 recently, losing to the Boston Bruins. And they had a lead in that game. It's been a bit tough over the last bunch of games after we were so positive about their start of the season. They're still looking okay in the standings, but not as good as they used to be, being in the top three in the division, leading the division at a point there. Now the Lightning have kind of taken over that. So, I mean, what do they have to do in the next bunch of games to kind of turn it around? Because, I mean, the season's not lost by a long shot. It's fine. We said about the Thanksgiving being that benchmark, and they're looking still pretty good, but they're going to have to start winning some games now to kind of get back firmly into that conversation.
Yeah, I think you look at it, you play a team like Nashville, who's at the bottom of the league. You give up three or four in the third period against them on Wednesday night. You got to win the games that you're supposed to win.
Mm-hmm.
Nashville's an underperforming team with the roster they've got, but those are games you have to win. You look at guys that you need guys to start stepping up, whether it's Kane, who seems to be, he's like snake bitten like DeBrincat was at the beginning of the year right now, it seems like. You can't find the back of the net. Or, I mean, even Gibson he's up and down. Talbot didn't have too bad of a week, but you got to get consistency throughout the lineup. You can't keep relying on the top three guys because it's just not, like we talked about before, it's not sustainable for an 82-game season to do something like that. And we're kind of seeing that right now in this last 20-game stretch that you need at least three lines doing something, and you're not getting it on most nights.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, that top-heavy offense, it can sustain you for a little bit, but then it'll start, the cracks will start showing because it's, three guys can't be doing it all season long. And even if they are, I mean, you're not going to be winning all the games because they can only do so much. I mean, you still need that extra push from the bottom of the lineup. And it actually goes perfectly into our next thing. And one guy is kind of helping that cause, and that's Michael Rasmussen. We've talked about him in the quarter season awards and stuff like that, and the grades. Not the awards. We were talking about in the grades that he's got to start stepping up. And I mean, it's not a huge hot streak by any means, but he's scored in back-to-back games. He's got 3 points over the last couple, and I mean, maybe starting to catch a bit of fire. What have you seen from him in the last bunch?
Yeah, I think you're right. It doesn't seem like it's a whole lot, but it could be something that snowballs into, okay, he can be relied upon a little bit more. Give him a little bit longer leash. Start giving him more responsibility. I mean, he was out there in the last 2 minutes of that game against Boston and helped tie it up. You normally wouldn't see him out there. His play's it's only been a few games, but again, it's a good sign. Like we just talked, we talk about it nonstop, just getting that bottom six going. And he's definitely one of those guys. When he's on, he can help big time.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can start doing it, maybe it rubs off on a couple other guys, whether it's a Soderblom or a Berggren or any of them. I mean, Casper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he can get some kind of production going, it doesn't even have to be scoring all the time. Just bringing a little bit of help, whether it's throwing his body around, anything, bringing some energy. They need something to help spark that bottom six, and if he can keep playing the way he has, I think that's going to bode quite well going forward.
Well, he's got 3 goals in his last 7. I mean, and I believe he only has 4 on the season. So 3 out of his 4 goals have come in the last 10 games. So that's good. Hopefully he can kind of keep that going. If he can do that over the next 20, 25 games, that's a good production for your bottom 6. And I mean, we've seen it. He can do it. He's got size. He's got skill. It's that consistency that we've mentioned with a lot of the guys that he's got to keep it going. It can't just be that little thing and then all of a sudden he's on another 20-something games where he's not scoring. That's not good. I mean, he's got so much more, I think, to give in his game. It's just like you say, that consistency in scoring, not just that little burst every so often, because that's not what you need. That's a fourth line guy. I mean, I think he has the potential even to be a top six. It's just he's got a bit of consistency. All right. Well, speaking of top six guys, and that's in the trade market, we're going to start seeing more of this as we get closer and closer to that March deadline. I mean, still a fair bit away. We haven't really seen much trades yet this season, but Steven Stamkos has been in the rumor mill probably for the last month or so that he might be traded from Nashville. There's also been talk that he wants to stay. There's probably not going to be. But, as the Predators keep struggling, there's going to be that. And there has been some reports that the Red Wings are involved in getting him. Do you think that's a possibility? Should they go after a veteran like Stamkos? I mean, he has kind of dropped off a bit in his scoring, but still a very productive guy that could maybe help the top six.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. I mean, he's obviously got the ties with Yzerman from his time in Tampa. Yeah. I know they were in on him when he decided to go to Nashville and all that stuff. I mean, does it make sense? I mean, for the right price, I mean, anything makes sense. I mean, you look at him, with the top six, obviously he's not going to take top line minutes. Do you slide him in? Would you slide him in on the second line? The shuffling around of the roster would be, I don't want to say tricky part, because I'm sure there's definitely ways to get that figured out. There's definitely players that don't necessarily deserve to be in the lineup right now that would be shifted out. But I mean, like you said, his numbers aren't the greatest. I think he's got like nine points this year, 6 goals, 3 assists.
Yeah.
So obviously not the production you're used to seeing out of him, but I think maybe, coming to a team that's trying to be that playoff team that Nashville thought they were going to be and were expected to be when they signed to him and Marchessault, it might reinvigorate him a little bit to play with someone. Maybe he plays on a line with Kane and DeBrincat, Kane, one of those guys like that, get something going. Maybe anything makes sense. And obviously we talked about it before. Nobody knows what's going on in the mind of Steve Yzerman. Yeah. So knowing him, I mean, he's had the ties, he's had the interest in him coming to Detroit before. So it's definitely a possibility. And sensibility wise, I think depending on the price, trade-wise, I wouldn't be against it.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, like I say, he's still a guy that can put up points, and he could be, reinvigorated in a playoff team, because right now, I mean, the Predators would have to go on a ridiculous run, Blues-like run from 2019 that, 2019 to do something. But, I mean, he's a guy that I think still wants to win. He still probably would like a chance at a Stanley Cup again. So, I mean, I think he'd be open to a trade to the Red Wings. It's just, what would they have to give up? I don't know what the Predators are kind of looking at for a trade. I mean, would it be a first-round pick? Would it be a mid-range prospect? I'm not sure how rich, that type of a deal will be. But the right price, yeah, definitely. I mean, he still can score. He can still produce, like how Patrick Kane has been. I think he's the same type of guy. It's just it is surprising he kind of has fallen so far off this season, because he had a decent season in his first year in Nashville. It's just he's really not even on pace to hit 20 goals right now. So, and that's very out of character for Stamkos, because he can still hit 20 even at an older age, right?
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, the biggest thing is, I mean, like you said, there's reports saying they might look to trade him, but at the same time, I mean, he's got a no movement clause. He can say no whenever he wants. If he wants to stay in Nashville, I mean, who wouldn't want to stay in Nashville? It's a great city, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, like you said, if he wants to go somewhere and have the chance to get back in the playoffs, have a chance that – I'm not saying the Wings are going to make a push for the Cup this year whatsoever, but – I mean, just to be in that race again, like I said, it might get him going again. I mean, the last time he's been under 25 goals was when he played 38 games in 2020-21. So you get him rolling again. It'd be, like I said, you look at I was reading the other day, the Preds were talking, if they were going to trade Ryan O'Reilly, like a first-round pick and a top-tier prospect. That might be a little rich for a lot of people's taste, but you'd see teams going for it. So I don't know what someone like Stamkos would go for, but you look at the prospect pool that the Wings have. You've got the depth and the players that if you wanted to make a move like that, you could do it and not be giving up 3 or 4, 2 or even 2 of your top prospects at worst. So who knows? Yzerman's kind of again, don't know what's in his mind, but you'd have to think he's kind of feeling a little bit of pressure. As much as he says there is no rush, at some point you got to get there.
Yeah. Especially with, like you said, the progression of the young guys that we've mentioned, in previous videos, that they're on the progress of kind of coming out of this rebuild, and you don't want to kind of take a step back either by trading a ton of your prospects away for immediate help that might not work out, and then all of a sudden you've depleted your prospect pool. It is a tough balance when you're looking at where they are. Do you go all in yet, or do you kind of stay conservative? It's interesting to see what Yzerman kind of thinks. That's where the deadline, you're going to start seeing where his mind is, I think.
Right. You look at the Wings, they're not a piece away from being a cup contender.
No.
Still have a few pieces that you need to get. So if they were a piece away, you give up a top end prospect, but you're not. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it brings us to a bigger name, and that's, Quinn Hughes has been in the rumors. I don't know. It's been since Rutherford did his thing in his media saying that he might leave to go to his brothers. Obviously, the Red Wings don't have his brothers, but there are a lot of teams that are going to throw their hat in the ring for Quinn Hughes. If there is a possibility of a trade, Rutherford has said he's not putting him on the market. It's even in their memo that, the veterans are available. Hughes is not in there, but that hasn't stopped the speculation. And the Red Wings are in that speculation after, I believe it was Pagnotta said that anything with the Red Wings starts with Lucas Raymond. And that, I think, kind of got rubbed fans the wrong way. But what would you give up to get Quinn?
Not Lucas Raymond.
Not Lucas Raymond. I mean, as a Canucks writer, I'd be fine with it. But I also don't like that Quinn Hughes would leave. So, I mean, what would you be willing to kind of look at in a trade potential? Very unlikely, I think. But, I mean, obviously, Yzerman's going to look into it anytime a guy like Hughes is on the market. Definitely.
Well, you'd be crazy not to, no matter who you are. But, I mean, you're probably looking at least a couple first-round picks that it's going to take. And then I've seen anywhere from a mix of, like, Casper, Danielson, Edvinsson, maybe another one in there. The problem with giving up someone like Edvinsson, you're swapping D-man for D-man, but you're still back to where you are right now with, okay, you've got 2 top-tier defensemen, but what's behind them? Yeah. You're kind of back to square one. Granted, Quinn Hughes is on a totally different level than Simon Edvinsson right now, but you don't want to be still chasing that 2 second and third pair defensemen that you're still missing out on. So, I mean, you really wouldn't want to give up someone like him. I mean, you look maybe a couple first-round picks. Because, again, first-round picks, everybody loves having them, but they're not guaranteed things.
Yeah.
We've seen it before with numerous players that haven't panned out in the past. But you look at a couple first probably, and maybe a Danielson, maybe a Casper. Vancouver has a decent amount of D-men. I mean, you got Willander. I know you guys got Victor Mancini. He's not a bad defenseman either. Yeah. But it's hard saying because you don't normally see a defenseman or even a player that can produce and is as young as Quinn Hughes potentially being on the trade market like this. Yeah. So you don't necessarily know what to even expect. Lucas Raymond, that whole thing, then not sorry, that would be a quick hang up on Yzerman's end, I would hope. But you look at a couple first and probably a couple top end prospects that are either NHL ready or at the NHL level.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Lucas Raymond, yes. I mean, that's something that might probably a 1-for-1. I don't think there's anything else involved in there. But I think that's something that Yzerman would be like, I don't think so. But it is something that, Axel Sandin Pellikka, I mean, he's an equivalent to, I mean, obviously not at the level of Quinn Hughes, but he has that type of potential. Again, I don't know if the Wings would be be willing to give him up. It is a tough thing because as a Canucks writer, I'm trying to wrap my head around what I'd be okay with. If I was Rutherford, if I was, or just as a fan, what type of trade would be fine? I don't really have anything in mind because Quinn Hughes is a generational player. I mean, you're not going to get someone like him in return. You're going to have to get quantity, I think, over quality, because I don't think a team's going to give up an equivalent player. Because Lucas Raymond, I guess, would be kind of an equivalent player. I don't know if I would call him a generational talent. He's an elite type player. But I'm not really. It is tough. I mean, what would the Red Wings be willing to give up as well to get a guy like Hughes? And the thing is even in management, they're saying that they don't want to get just draft picks. They want to get players now that are good. So it's going to be tough to get that from teams that, do they want to give up those types of players because are they making themselves better or just the same to get someone like Hughes? So it's going to be an interesting thing to see how it goes.
That's the hard part. Like you said, with Vancouver, obviously you don't want to have to go through a full rebuild. You want to stay competitive. You don't want the draft picks, but like you said, you don't want teams aren't gonna give up 3-4 assets and players, like you said, because they're going to be right back to where they kind of were. Yeah, Sandy and Pellica. Yeah, I mean, you look at them too. They project the same kind of game, but again, it's hard. It's hard saying. I mean, would it be great to have a Quinn Hughes in Detroit? Yeah, but there's no guarantee he even wants to stay.
Yeah,
any kind of deal would have to come with an extension before it even happened, in my mind, because giving up that kind of value in trade, you're going to have to, because you're really rolling the dice if you don't.
Yeah,
especially with the fact he's made it kind of known he wants to play with his brothers.
Yeah, and that's the thing with any team, acquiring him, other than the Devils, of course. But even them, I mean, like, what do you do? Do you trade or do you say, well, we're just going to wait because he's going to sign with us? So why would you give up a guy like Jesper Bratt or Simone Nemitz when you'd be like, well, we're just going to sign him?
We'll hang on to our stuff. We'll just clear cap space.
That's the thing, right? I mean, I guess that's what the trade would be, is to clear up that cap space. But I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It just was kind of an interesting discussion because it did, Hughes kind of came up, and of course he's from Michigan. There is that connection there. His family's close. So I mean, it would be kind of something that would make sense. You might want to stay in Detroit as well. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. Obviously, I want Hughes to just stay where he is because what he's done here. But there is also the possibility he does leave. So we'll see if the Red Wings are in that discussion, either as trade or, when free agency hits way down the line here. So we'll keep an eye on that. But thanks, Jordan, for coming on, talking Red Wings as always. As we continue through the season, we'll hopefully have a bit more wins to talk about next time. And I don't know if there's going to be any trades, but we'll see. Make sure to check out everything at thehockeywriters.com for all of our content of the Red Wings and our Substack newsletters. And, of course, all the other videos we've got on the YouTube channel. But until our next one, we will see you next time.